My cat's coming in to annoy me. Strolling in with an attitude right off the bat. Actually, I exaggerate. Actually, a very loving, affectionate cat. Just very often has funny ways of showing it, like throwing up in my shoes or sticking her claws in my leg. All right, guys, I need to bring up the desktop real quick so I can see what everyone has to say. So I can say something back if you want. Just give me one second. Sorry, guys. It should be slightly better prepared, right? I do want to read what I wrote this morning. I also want to read the introduction of Course in Miracles. Let me do that first. And also, I thought that I'd get to maybe, possibly, we'll see, the Song of Prayer pamphlet, an amendment, an adjunctant to A Course in Miracles. Morning, Sniper. Morning, Lucy. Hey, Sissy. Who else we have? We have Ellie. Hey, Ellie. My friend Ellie. Thanks for being here. Ellie says you are amazing. Well, thank you, my friend. Hawk smash that like. I appreciate that. Hey, Carl. Carl says, good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, my friend. Kat says, P.S. Magnetic Adventures is live at 5:30 a.m. Gotcha. Hey, Anna. Anna says, good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, Anna. Kat says, good morning, all. Love you. We'll be listening, heading to work. Have a great day at work. So let me read what I wrote, because it actually has the introduction of the course in it. You guys ready? Slightly longer one than what I normally write, but I never write anything very long. I lack stamina to be a great writer. Carl says, I'm sending Cat and Yogi hurricane. Yeah, we're getting a nor'easter coming for sure. Well, at least it's coming from a friend. I appreciate that. So, this is what I wrote this morning. It is titled Right at the Beginning. Right at the beginning, that's where I find myself after another year devoted to the workbook lessons of A Course in Miracles. I have gone through these lessons several times in my long practice of the Course, and this time has been, perhaps, the most fruitful. And yet, as is often the case, I'm drawn back to those magical words of the introduction that have captivated me since first glance. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Therein lies the peace of God. This secret is given away right at the beginning, and if truly understood, can then become the basis for the entire life that follows. I smile at all the times I've forgotten this, even now, and I'm in my third decade of practice. Truly, nothing real can be threatened, but I often overlook the real for favor of the temporary, still seeming to prefer the illusion of peace that an outer world offers, rather than the internal presence of God's love that is always available should I deem to notice. Right now, my own problems have become very real to me, issues of the world pressing down on me. And yet, nothing real can be threatened. And those words are still magical to me. They're my return to reality, my promise of peace in this very troubled moment. I found myself smiling this morning, unexpectedly, at ease as everything unreal is now forgiven and seen only as my own interpretation of events. I'm smiling because nothing unreal exists, and herein lies the peace of God, right here, all along. I need to clean up one line. Often the case as I reread something, or actually read it for the first time, I see all the little errors that I've made as well. That's an important thing to consider, errors. We're quick to condemn. This is a sin, and we have misinterpreted, literally, as Sniper can attest to, we have literally misinterpreted the word sin, which only means error. It only means to miss the mark. And who hasn't missed the mark? So when we say, yes, everyone's a sinner, of course we are. We've all missed the mark. Does that mean we've committed a grave error in which we are going to burn in eternity? Or should we condemn anyone for missing the mark? How can we? We like to put in these hierarchy of illusions that what this person did is much, much greater than what this person did. Now, on the level of form, of course, someone, a mass murderer, of course, has created a grave error, graver than someone who has shoplifted, than someone who has told a lie, than someone who has inadvertently hurt a friend, right? But in the language and the thought system of the mystic, in seeing reality for what it is, and an illusion is an illusion is an illusion because it still splits the mind from its original peace. It still seemingly separates us from God. So we don't have the peace of God because we're seeing that irrevocable sin, whatever it might be. Now, this doesn't mean on the level of form that a punishment should not suit the meat, what's happened. Of course it should, right? But if we view it as a sickness, that the world's worst criminal is just as sick as a child who's told a lie because they believe that sin is real, what do? We offer them greater help. Those who are in more need, those who seem to be the most troubled, the most violent, the most whatever, are in need of more help. That doesn't mean we open our arms and give them a hug and say, here's your help, I love you. It means I do love you, but you need help that I'm unable to provide on this level of form, and perhaps you will get it here. Let me dive back in, guys. Kat says, where's everyone? Where have I left off? Sissy's saying hi to everyone. Anna says, how are you this morning, Yogi? Anna, I am slightly lighter. Not in weight, but in thought. Somewhere in the middle of the night, I felt alleviated from some personal wounds that I've been carrying along that I just no longer want to carry. You know, I set an agenda early on in my YouTube career, such as it is. Why is it always the right shoe that I hold in my hand for the longest period of time? So yeah, I set this agenda early on. And now I'm called to stick with it when things seem to be darker, or harder, more difficult. But if truly, as Anna said, nothing real can be threatened, I either live that or it's a joke. Simple as that. Sorry, I'm looking at that bump on my head, which I didn't get when it first happened. It actually appeared, I think it was yesterday. Not big, just weird. I banged my head in the chair. Why? Things we do when we're bored. Sniper sent some love to Anna. Sissy says, oh, if I had any storms sent their way, sure the eye. Hey, Maddie. Maddie, how are you? Maddie, it was so... The one... big thanks for Chloe for sending me the photos again. And, man, watching you hold little Jordy, for me, that was truly a magical moment. I had to say that on my live stream yesterday and tell everyone, guys, you got to go over there and see this. The love, the tenderness, it was, in my opinion, in the history of YouTube, the most beautiful thing that I've ever seen. And yes, I've seen cats playing. I've seen all the cat videos that you can put out there. I've seen all the puppy dog videos that you can get out there. I've seen sunrises and sunsets. I've seen, I've been through the gauntlet of YouTube. The most beautiful thing that I've seen in the history of YouTube, Maddie Holden Jordy, by far. By far. It broke my heart wide open in the most magical and special way possible. See that love. Sissy says, Grand Risings, Maddie and family. Beautiful family, too, by the way. Ellie says, Yogi, the shoe needs to be on your feet, not your hands. Ellie, what would I do without you? I'd be right now walking, and it's raining out. I would be walking in the rain, holding one shoe, wearing another. Bless you, Maddie. Bless you, my friend. All right, Ellie, thank you. I'm good to go. So for guys who are not familiar with the introduction of A Course in Miracles, The Course in Miracles is very holographic, meaning if you get one thing, you get the entirety. If you get one lesson, you get all the lessons. If you get this, you get it all. Course in Miracles does not aim at teaching the meaning of love, for that is beyond what can be taught. It does aim, however, at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. Your love's presence is peace, true peace, independent of that which is occurring in the outer world. We think we're going to attain peace by rearranging all this stuff. If I can get this person to do this, if I cut this person out of my life, if I do whatever, then I'm going to have peace. Nope. You create a void in which another person shows up to teach you the very same lesson over and over and over again until you choose real peace, the peace of God, the peace of the Tao, the peace of Krishna, the peace of Buddha, peace of love. The opposite of love is fear, but what is all-encompassing can have no opposite. So the opposite of love is fear, but fear is an illusion, and yet we bought into it. Anytime that you are attempting to circumnavigate someone else, meaning circle around them, I'm going to avoid them. Anytime you are seeking to cut someone out, anytime that you are having this strong reaction, it's fear. It's fear, and it's an illusion. And you are offered a way out, and that is choosing peace. I can choose peace instead of this. Here's the introduction part that I love. This course can therefore be summed up very simply in this way. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. Let me dive back in and hang out with you guys. Manny says he is struggling at the moment. We think he has dairy allergies. I've ordered different formulas. We're going not getting much sleep at the moment. Bless him. But you are, both you and Chloe, patient people because you have so much love for your family, for each other. Thank you, Maddie. Maddie, thank you so much. Maddie says, we Jordy sends his love from heaven with a white dove. We all love you, Mr. Yogi, the kindest man on YouTube. Maddie, thank you so much. You know what? Your friendship, Chloe's friendship, means so much to me. Whenever I have any doubt, and I do, I think about the beautiful friends that I have. And the messages that Maddie puts. I just got to smile. Love from Wee Jordy. Hey, go watch Maddie's live stream from last night, from yesterday, and it's somewhat towards the end, and you'll see Maddie holding Jordy, and it's so beautiful. You might want to skip over the part where Maddie's cat was having some intestinal issues, making a few noises. It was the cat. It was definitely the cat. Anna says, thank you, Maddie. Indeed. Thank you so much. see. Semper says, want to talk non-integral dimension. When do you want to talk that? Hey, Space. Sniper, we're still on for Tuesdays. Sissy says, beautifully spoken, Maddie. Definitely. Hey, Nakata. They look like Kane from Command and Conquer. Don't know him. I'll take that as a compliment. Vsauce. Vsauce. Is that good? Is that like the latest version of, is that a hot sauce? Is it a spaghetti sauce? Let's see. Semper says, greeting space. Maddie is laughing, said that made me laugh. I heard the cat. Carl says, I'm lost here. It's okay, Carl. So am I. We can find our way. We'll find our way out of here together, my friend. Lisa says, slow, Carl. Sniper's laughing. Anna says, thank you for your great live streams, Carl. Indeed. Semper says, just realized I was 1 minute behind. So we're getting just the edge of that nor'easter that's blowing up the coast of America. You ever look behind you and see your cat staring at you, realizing you've had your back turned the entire time, and she was probably plotting and scheming some sort of... Hey, Eric LaPointe. Eric LaPointe. I don't know if you realize what your presence means to me. How much peace of mind you gave me last night with your presence. Semper says, lost is the perfect place to be in a world where we don't know what it really is. You're absolutely right about that, as you often are. Lucy says, hello, Eric LaPointe. Maddie, thank you. Maddie says, here's one from all of us. Never doubt, stand up tall. Life's tributes and trials, they do tests. You always rise above. You are the best. Love you, Mr. Yogi, my dearest friend. I love you too, Maddie. I love you. I love Chloe. I love your whole family. Again, guys, go watch the last part. Watch the whole thing. It's hanging out with Maddie is a lot of fun at the kitchen table tying flies. But towards the end, when he's holding baby Jordy. You guys are absolutely the best. Eric LaPointe, salute to Maddie. Sissy says I fell asleep on the couch again while I was sleeping. In my dream, a voice said I could forgive, but I didn't have to tolerate it. I'd like to talk about that sometime, Sissy. What do you think? What do you think that message was? Hey, Tuesday? Man, I don't know if I've ever pronounced a single name correctly. Even Eric LaPointe. You would think I would pronounce Eric correctly, right? You would think I wouldn't mispronounce that. Everyone's saying hi. Carl says, hurricane is bringing internet down in America. Man, I hope not. If it brings the internet down, I'd be looking at a blank screen having this same conversation. Eric LaPointe says, Squirrel Sniper, yes. Sniper says, Eric LaPointe, can you smell Christmas? Yeah, it's coming quick. Coming quick. I know you've been busy. Sissy says, not sure specifically. Let's see if we can suss. S-U-S-E, right? Let's see if we can suss that message out. Sniper says, Eric LaPointe, I smelled it yesterday. Gonna be a great one. Hey, Susanna. Susanna, how are you? You got a link you want to share with us, my friend? Maddie sends the link to Susanna. Guys, we'll hang out for about 6 more minutes. I wanted to read one more little thing. Praying for one's enemies. Oh, you definitely belong here, Carl, if you want to. If you want to belong here. You know we always love you. You know we always got you back, Carl. So, the contradiction of praying for one's enemies lies not in the actual words, but rather in the way in which they usually are interpreted. While you believe you have enemies, you have limited prayer to the laws of this world, and also limited your ability to receive and to accept to the same narrow margins. And yet, if you have enemies, you have need of prayer, and great need too. What does this phrase really mean? Pray for yourself that you may not seek to imprison Christ, Krishna, Buddha, the Tao, and thereby lose the recognition of your own identity. Be a traitor to no one, or you will be treacherous to yourself. An enemy is the symbol of an imprisoned Christ. Remember, when we say Christ, we're not necessarily talking about Jesus, a person. We're talking about Christ, the energy that animated Jesus. Christ, the consciousness that animates all of us. This is what Mother Teresa meant when she said she saw the distressing disguise of Christ within everyone. So an enemy is a symbol of an imprisoned Christ, and who could he be except for yourself? The prayer for enemies thus becomes a prayer for your own freedom. Now it is no longer a contradiction in terms. It has become a statement of the unity of Christ and a recognition of his sinlessness. And now it has become holy, for it acknowledges the Son of God as he was created. That's you and me. Bless the button pushers. Bless those who will show up and disturb the status quo, because they are showing you a version of yourself, a version that we dislike so much that we've projected it outwards. We've told a story. Remember, everything is our interpretation. Everything is our interpretation, not the actuality. I have an interpretation of this desk, of all the stuff that I've written, of all the stuff that I put on it, of all the cups of coffee that have been here through the years. I interpret it as something to hold things, but if I took it apart, it would just be pieces of something. If I examine those parts, it would actually be cells and molecules and atoms and subatomic and particles and subatomic particles and space. All of it's a story. It's a story that comes together to tell of a desk, and the desk has that reality, right? Doesn't mean that it's ultimate reality, though. The ultimate reality is the nothingness of which it comes from. That nothingness is holy and sacred and magical because it allows for things to be. If you could look at someone and see the nothingness of them, that's not a bad thing. That means there's a magical quality that the entire universe came together to make that person an appearance in front of you, of which you get to now interpret it in one of two ways. You can interpret as an enemy, or someone not to trust, or let's wait and see, or they're a friend, or they're this, or they're whatever. We give them a label, good or bad, or we can interpret it through the lens of love, through the lens of, the Course would say, through the lens of the Holy Spirit or Christ. We could say through the lens of Krishna, through the lens of Buddha consciousness, through the lens of the Tao. Doesn't matter. Through the lens of the universe, through the lens of our original innocence, and say, yeah, this person can kind of suck. This person definitely pushes my buttons. This person is a dick. This person is whatever. I've been all of those things. Hopefully not now, and hopefully not to you guys. But who hasn't, right? You know, some of our greatest friends here, some of our greatest friends who are on other channels, started out as trolls here, you know? So many people I was told to ban through the last 2 years, who are now loving parts of, lots of people's channels. It's funny. We just never know. So instead of rushing to judgment or even taking our time to judgment, let's skip the judgment. Again, that doesn't mean maybe you want to ban someone. Do it. But we don't have to make an issue of it. And we don't have to sacrifice other people to the interpretation that we hold. I will never sacrifice you, any of you, ever. And some of you, hasn't been easy. Eric LaPointe. Sorry. I've been thinking I've been throwing Runaway under the bus too often, so I decided, the sacrificial lamb. I only throw the people I love under the metaphorical bus. Lucy says, you're a great person, Yogi. Eric, I'm glad you said that. For one, thank you. Not necessarily true. That's an interpretation too. But the law of shadow, the law of projection, as put forth by Carl Jung, right, the great psychologist, is not only, hey, Redeemer, not only is the shadow that which we don't like about ourselves, the shadow is all the good things that we're unable to recognize in ourselves. So whenever you see anything that you think is good or great or of the highest quality within another, rest assured you could not see that unless it was you, unless it was part of you. And you have now the ability, now the opportunity to own that and say, yes, just as this other stuff that I don't like seeing is part of me, and I can recognize it and I can heal it through forgiveness. All these great qualities that I recognize in another, they're mine too. If you see it, you own it. If you recognize it, you own it. That's tough, but it's the only way to true healing, and it's the only way of that unshakable peace of mind that all of us, whether we realize it or not, actually want. You can't arrange or rearrange or continuously arrange the lounge chairs on the deck of the Titanic. It's still going down. The ship is still sinking. You can't rearrange your live streams to be a certain way because people will keep showing up. You'll never ban your way to peace of mind. You will never cut people out in your personal life or otherwise and get peace of mind. This is a great course lesson. Nothing real can be threatened. If you're feeling threatened, it's fear. Fear is an illusion. The acronym for fear is false evidence appearing real. Right? Hey, Infa, welcome back. Eric points is true, and he's laughing. Sissy says, I've said the same thing before. You and I, we've both done a little bit of shadow work. You've done much, much more than me. But, man, it's a great practice. Maddie says, have to hop off. Love to all. Love to you, Maddie. Please give my love, Chloe, Jordy, and everyone else, all the kids. I hope your cats are over their intestinal issues. And it says fear is an illusion. It is an illusion. However, that doesn't mean that we cannot be affected by an illusion. We can. And we take the proper steps. On the level of form, we do what's necessary to keep ourselves safe. We do what's necessary to keep our families safe. We do, before enlightenment, before awakening, chop wood, carry water. After awakening, chop wood, carry water. Or pay the neighborhood kid as little as possible to chop wood, carry water, and then take all the credit for it when you come home. Yeah, I'd spent the day chopping wood, carrying water. Then you got to pay the kid a little extra, or he's going to narc on you. So it's probably better to pay him well to begin with, so you don't have to go through all that trouble. Or you know what? Just go out and chop wood, carry water yourself. It ain't so hard. It's an enjoyable day in the sun, right? Maddie says, well done, Miss Yogi. Cat's fine. I'm glad to hear that, Maddie. I got a fruit fly flying around. A couple weeks ago, I actually saved 2 fruit flies from drowning. And what have they done? They copulated and then raised a family of about 10,000 other fruit flies buzzing around my head. No good deed goes unpunished. Do you know how hard it is to give mouth-to-mouth and chest compressions to a fruit fly? It's not easy. Where are we? Sniper says fear blocks your paramagnetic, diagrammic, and ferromagnetic sensors, stopping you from using your natural given talent of intuition. I'm nodding my head as if I pronounced any of those words correctly. I did not. But I do get your message, Squirrel. I don't think I've done more than you, dear friend. But I think you're on point. I think you're on point. I love when you talk about the shadow. Hey, Mike and Venus, how are you, my friend? Semper says, Grand Risings, Mike. Where's this coming from? I'm in the state of Maryland, East Coast. Hello there, Tiger King. Anna says, good morning, Tiger King. Sissy says, I still have so much work to do. The ego still has some untamed intolerance. You know what? You want to know what the great work of our lives is? Noticing. Just noticing. You've heard, man, almost every guest who's come up to talk, we sort of say the same thing. We don't need to suit up and go to battle with ourselves. We don't need to suit up and battle the ego. Just notice. Just notice. And then spontaneously, just by noticing, things begin to change. We start to intuitively and spontaneously make those right decisions. A right decision is simply choosing the mind of peace. I'd rather be at peace. I'd rather be kind. I could make a conflict, I could make an issue, I could make an accusation, but you know what? I'd rather be at peace. The truth is, I don't really know what's happened. I surmise. I seem to think I know what this person is thinking. And so I have a reaction based upon a false assumption. I have an reaction based upon my own fear. This person's out to get me, out to harm me, out to do this. This person did this, did that, whatever. Maybe they did. I'd still rather be at peace. I'd still rather be at peace. Hey, what's the matter, you? Just came from commenting under your earlier streams recording. Howdy again. Howdy, my friend. Appreciate you being here. And it says, just noticing, and then things begin to change. The power of awareness. The entirety of yoga is learning how to notice. Notice your breath as it settles into a posture. Notice your breath as you're practicing a mindful meditation. Notice your breath as you are practicing the ethical foundation of yoga. Ellie says, I should be on in the morning and afternoon live tomorrow, as I'm not leaving for about an hour and a half after your morning live. So I have to leave at 11:30, and it takes nearly 2 hours to get there. It's a long little trip, 2 hours. Anna says, I'd rather be at peace. Hey, Fred Chambers. We're going to go in just a minute, guys. Long trip to get to a hospital. It is. Hey, Allie. Prayers to you. You know we're going to be with you. Give her a quick little ring of the bell. Ellie, this is for you. Healing thoughts, lots of love. Our friend Ellie. My cat did not like that at all. Will I be dressed up for a nature dog come for my life for Halloween? I don't know. I'm not really much of someone who dresses up. Maybe I'll come as a yogi with a bump on his head. Ellie says, I'm going to be stressing the whole time. We're going to be sending you peace the whole time. We're going to be sending you love the whole time, Ellie. Lucy's sending you unicorn vibes. the most peaceful vibes of all. Anna says, thank you, what's the matter you? Good to see you too. Ollie says, thanks Lucy, thanks Yogi. You're welcome, my friend. Ollie has soothed the kitten, but she's still... All cats are continuously... They're continuously tripping. My present cat is probably a reincarnation of a cat that was present and dancing around at Woodstock, 1969. Get some more unicorn vibes. You don't know says, hey mate, hey my friend, how are you? Sissy says, I will still exercise distancing myself when the poking becomes more and more intentional, as well as consistent. Yeah, you know, like I said, what we do on the level of form and the level of life is what we do. It's the level of the heart, the mind, as they say in the Course, that matters. When you set people free on the level of the mind, then what happens on the level of form just doesn't matter as much. Bruce gave that great quote from Krishnamurti on Friday. Bruce Rawls, the author that came up to talk with us. And the quote was that people really admired Krishnamurti's his freedom, his level of peace that was displayed in every situation. And they asked him his secret, and the secret is, I'm no different than you, except I don't mind what happens. Didn't mean that he didn't have preferences. My cat. Of course he had preferences. But life shifts on a dime. If we're constantly reacting to someone throwing dimes at us, this is how that bump got there. I said I hit my head on the chair. Someone threw a dime at me, hit me right in the head. Yeah, so, you know, we want to be independent. Interdependence also means interdependent upon each other. But that doesn't mean that we're at the mercy of shifting winds and throwing dimes. Tiger King sent Ellie a smile. We got more unicorn vibes from Ellie. What's the matter says another Pavlonian holiday intended to stimulate everyone to spend their fat currency. Humbug. Just playing. Sort of. I can't argue that though. You know, when you start advertising for a holiday, when you start advertising for a last day of October, second to last day of October, in August, there's some, you know, finances involved. Ellie says, got to be positive no matter what. Here's what I'm going to add to that. Because sometimes we don't feel very positive. Sometimes we're down and there's just no denying the fact. Life is hard right now for some people. We can drive ourselves crazy by saying, I'm only going to feel positive. No negative thoughts allowed. Just allow. Allow the moment to be what the moment is and smile and say, man, this really sucks. But I choose to love myself anyway. This is really hard, but I can choose peace and accept the moment and all the suckiness that goes. Man, my father was such a great example. Even up until his last breath, the last breath that he was taking, he showed his concern and his love for me. He chose peace. His last words were, I can't do this. And he kept saying it over and over. And I had his hand. And I said, what can't you do? I can't do this. Then he had a seizure and he was gone. But there was no look of panic or fear of I can't do this. He was done. He was done. He had a long life. He held on to everything he could hold on to for as long as possible without regret, without trying to shove things away. When he was sick, he recognized that he was sick. And he did what he could to make himself feel better. Miss my dad, guys. Hey, Crazy Dutch. All right, we're gonna head out and take a walk. What's Matter says, oh yeah, Valentine's, Halloween, Xmas, they're all like that, but they can be fun too. Yep, they can be fun. Everything is what we make it. Remember, we have, going back to the message so far, we have our interpretation. We always get to reinterpret it something. Holiday or holy day, take your pick. A holiday involves money, it involves hassle, it involves issues, traffic, long lines, all of that. Holy days means I love you, regardless, all that other stuff. And I reserve this moment, this day, this gathering around a Christmas tree as a holy day. Holy day doesn't necessarily mean that you are celebrating a deity or an identity or whatever. It means that I'm choosing the holiness of your company, and I'm happy with that. You guys give me a holy day every single day. I gotta go. I got a walk to take. I got beavers to look for. I've seen several foxes the last couple of days, but it's just been too dark to get them on camera. Keep looking. Love you guys.